This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 838 for the week of Monday, October 14th, 2024. My name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
And my name is Alex.
And on today's episode, we have very special guest translator for One Piece in Weekly Shonen Jump and Manga Plus. We have Stephen Paul with us. How's it going, Stephen?
Very tired. You know, I'm going to be honest. This is probably the kind of week when I would normally choose to be absent. But when I saw this week's chapter, I was like, oh, Lordy, I have some stuff to explain. So buckle up, folks, because you're going to learn some things this week.
That's what I figured.
Stephen, if I've learned one thing about doing this podcast for a decade and a half, it's that when you're tired, always makes for the best podcasting. And I'm always tired. So
That's
it's
your secret. Yeah.
That's my secret. That's what it is. We also have from Skulltenders, Cohen Edenfield joins us once again. How's it going, Cohen?
It's going so great. You know, we recorded an episode of Skulltenders a couple hours before this, so I am coming into this very high energy, just like Steven. If you don't remember or you've forgotten or you never knew, Skulltenders is a D&D podcast I DM about ghosts who get day passes from the afterlife so they can hunt down necromancers in the land of the living. It's available all the places podcasts are. And if you find me charming on this episode, you should listen to it. And if you don't, you should still listen to it.
And he is charming. So they are charming.
Thank you.
It's true.
It's Pepsi Coke. Don't worry about gender with me.
Okay. I was. We also have from Shoujo Sundae, which you could vote for now. What's the award show again?
The Signal Awards. They have the Signal Listener's Choice Award in the recap category. And Shoujo Sundae is the only anime podcast in the category.
Nice.
Yes.
We have Chika here with us once again. How's it going?
It is going, and I am on the campaign trail, but not the one that y'all are thinking of, the podcast one, please. So yes, if you would like, please, I guess check out the Shoujo Sundae link tree. It's the first link at the top. You can vote for Shoujo Sundae to win a Signal Listener's Choice Award in the recap category. We are up against Netflix and Warner Brothers. And
kick their asses.
Yes. And you know what? If you want to say something to the man, you should vote for Shoujo Sundae. You know, Netflix, nice. I'm sure that they canceled your favorite show. HBO, we all saw that last season of Game of Thrones. Come on, guys. Vote Shoujo Sundae.
You should be on real campaign trails because that's excellent. When I say real, I mean, you know. But no, that's excellent and true. Shoujo Sundae is our sister podcast, so please support them. They have our full endorsement. So if you're not going to just do it to stick it to the man, at least do it as a blind follower of ours, with no will of your own. You see, I'm not good at campaigning. This is the problem here. But wonderful to have both of you back. I'm very excited to get into this chapter. As Stephen intimated, we all have questions. But good ones, good questions. Before we get into the show, just today as we're recording, so yesterday or before that if you're listening in the distant future, a bunch of big announcements came out, mostly surrounding the anime. So big thanks to Adil, our news, our person who does the news for us, and has been our main Twitter social media person as of the last few weeks. So thanks to him for all his hard work. Let's get into that news though here. First, the anime, for the second time ever, and the first was COVID, is going to be entering a hiatus period for 5 months for this one to quote unquote, at least according to Adil, to improve the quality of the anime. 2 decades too late. I mean, it was, to be fair, it did improve, but
I don't remember. How long did they pause it for COVID?
A couple months. It was not long. Okay. And it was during, I think it was during the Udon stuff, if I recall.
In Wano. Yeah.
I think it was, and that was unplanned, obviously.
Right.
The manga never, I don't think, took any breaks, right? When that happened? Why would it, I guess?
No.
Yeah.
He had to continue not going outside.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, no. Yeah, I don't think Oda enjoyed it either, though. But he played Pokemon Go more, probably. Pokemon
works
go
for
to the polls to vote.
It worked for him because he could just walk
Shoujo
around his
Sundae.
house.
Shoujo Sundae. Yeah. I regret all that. He could. Yeah, for him, I'm sure. And he also lives in a giant house with a giraffe in it, so he's doing fine. I won't confirm or deny whether it's a living giraffe. So the series picks up again in April of 2025. It ends. Was this the last week? I think this was the last week in the anime then, right? Before the hiatus, because next week, more announcements. Ishitani, our favorite anime director, the one who did the most recent episode, the most recent opening for the anime, Us, or as I like to call it, because that was the original Google Translate version of that, so completely accurate. Anyway, Ishitani is doing a special based off of the Straw Hat Stories novel, which I forgot existed. That's called One Piece Fan Letter, and it's airing October 20th. It looks gorgeous. She, again, is a rock star, so I'm very much looking forward to, she's the next Hosoda Miyazaki, in my opinion. She's extremely talented and fastidious in her details. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Even I know nothing about that novel. It's supposed to celebrate the 25th anniversary as well, which I think is this month.
Yeah, the novel was just like a bunch of little vignettes and things around the Straw Hats, usually with some kind of filler. Like they've been showing off this girl who dresses up like Nami because she idolizes Nami. So there's a lot of here's some other
cosplay.
Right. Here's some other character who has some relation with one of the Straw Hats. So it's not necessarily through the Straw Hat's eyes, but it is through some other character. That's the way that a lot of them are formatted, I believe.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. It just, it could really have any content in it with Ishitani. I'd be looking forward to it. Yeah. I'm not biased in that. After that, and this was for me the big surprise, we are having let's say One Piece Kai version of the Fishman Island arc. It's going to be called, I think, One Piece Log? Fishman, Fishman Island something arc. That starts October 27th, goes to March 30th, 2025. So I assume running in the place of the episodes that normally would be airing then. It's truncating a 58 episode arc, which we here at the podcast really vividly remember all 58 episodes, unfortunately, and reduces it to 21. We did anime recaps for those. It was tough going.
That is crazy. That's some WinRAR levels of compression going on there.
I like it. I like WinRAR.
I'm not an anime watcher. How many episodes is it Luffy at the pool in the bottom of the pool with his head pulled up at Fishman Island, not Arling Park. Sorry.
Yeah.
About 3 episodes though.
Yeah. Okay. So how long is the boat?
Too long.
Yeah. Okay.
The boat,
a long time.
I could check, but it's probably at least 10 episodes.
It's the snake way of the anime.
The thing is, the pacing just gets worse even after that, though, because think about Dressrosa, the Birdcage was at least 50 episodes. I would think. Yeah. So
Post Birdcage.
Yeah.
So I am very excited about it. What did you think? Alex, I know this caught your attention, right?
Yeah, I've been waiting for the anime to take a break like this for a really long time, and anything they can do to sweeten that deal, I'm all for. I watched the the video that they put together, and yeah, it's basically the animation has kind of a fresh kind of paint on it. It's got whatever filter they use for Wano to make it a little more Vaseline looking, but it's still kind of attractive. There's
looks
more
hand
shadows.
drawn.
Yeah, they definitely redrew a lot of the faces to look more like Oda's art, which I really appreciated.
And less like clip art or whatever it looked like back then.
Yeah.
I'm mean about it, but yeah.
Yeah, I really hope that, once that airs, we'll get a brand new Wikipedia picture for Luffy.
I hate that picture so much. I'll post,
know.
I'm not posting it anywhere because you see it everywhere. It's that really weird photo of Luffy looking straight into your soul and sucking it out of your body. Yeah, awful.
But like,
Alex.
I think that how many chapters is Fishman Island?
I can tell you in a minute.
Yeah, if we count the return to Shibandi, because that's what they count as Fishman Island.
Oh yeah, that's true. They do.
It-
Oh shit,
it
that
looks
means
like-
I've been wrong all these years.
It's probably 50 or 60-ish.
It is. I have it here, 51.
Wow. Okay, so they're basically giving it the early One Piece treatment.
Yeah, like
where
double.
I think we're probably going to get like 2 chapters per episode, which I think is perfectly fine given.
That's not even that fast for those chapters.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a quite a good pace, and I look forward to seeing if / when they do like at least Punk Hazard and Dressrosa, because Dressrosa is long enough as it is, and I didn't even watch it in the anime because I was
I couldn't.
Yeah.
I hit a point and I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to laugh. I think it's going to be really funny if they end up like all those really long, like drawn out pauses and like the slow pan and scan things. They're just like playing it at like double speed on YouTube. That would be
60
really good.
frames per second.
Yeah, 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
So the series will be made just to drive Steve Yurko insane.
Oh, yeah.
I like it. It's very specific.
It's like when you are watching the theme song from Blossom on YouTube and you slow it down to 0.5%, and it sounds like a Tom Waits song.
Well, except it's the Alvin and the Chipmunks version of that, I guess.
Kind of.
So the opening for that is going to be the Straw Hat version of We Go. I wonder if they're going to reanimate the opening in some regard. I do love We Go. The Straw Hat versions I'm less, into, but they're fine.
cute.
They're cute, yeah.
I think that who knows. During the broadcast, they said that a special guest will be involved in the recording of that song, and I have no idea what that means. Because if it was Kita Donnie, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, it's Kita Donnie."
It's just Kita Donnie, yeah. It wouldn't be a big deal.
So I don't know.
Now I'm wondering. Oh, it could be not Amuro Namie or something. That would be.
I thought you were going to say Amuro Ray. I'm like, no, he got canceled, dude.
Did he? The
voice actor. For
I'm joking.
Sabo. Yeah.
That was recent.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know it was. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. What you were talking about. I thought you meant the character Amuro Ray was canceled.
Yeah,
I'm like, what? New types now too. B First is doing it's just like the B Sharps, Alex, except it's a boy band from Japan. They're doing the ending theme. That was just for Alex. It's called Sailing. I have no idea anything about it, but I am excited for a new ending theme.
You haven't listened to it?
Fun.
They have it. They have it.
They did.
There's
I
a video.
Not.
Yeah,
I missed it.
It's nice. It's a nice ending theme, and I thought to myself, oh, we're gonna have to reevaluate our ending.
Maybe we'll do that at some point in the near or extremely distant future. Yeah, and because I think I forget the name of it. The one with Yamato is fantastic. The current one, I'm a big fan of the music, particularly. It's really good. I think those they've really put a lot more into the endings.
The
than
current one
ever
is
were put
designed
into
to
them.
evoke memories, and it's good.
And it does.
Yeah.
It evokes both the song memories and actual memories.
I just hope that when we come back from the Egghead hiatus, we don't get a new opening, and we keep Us because Us is good. And
we probably
just-
will, though.
I hope not.
But maybe Ishitani will do it. Like, that's the thing. They could, if they made Us, and Us is very good, they could make another very good opening.
Us also just
close
happens
to
to be a great song too.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's very good. But you know what? They have until April to make it and record it and do all that. So we could get another really good Kita Donnie song animated by Ishitani. That could all happen. Henry, our friend of the show, also posted that this is part of the reason why he left, which makes sense because money is necessary to live. And if breaking news. But so, that's why I
was going to say,
for...
I couldn't remember if he mentioned that he was leaving the show on the last time he was on the podcast. If he did, he probably spent 45 minutes talking about his thought process.
Did.
But
he did.
But yeah, so apparently he did know about this coming down the pike. So
this I think really puts it into starker contrast. Like that makes sense. You're a professional,
and that's why he couldn't say it either. Obviously.
Right, and that's why he couldn't really. Yeah, so he was giving like this is the reason. But and also I think he also could come back in the future. Didn't he? I think he left the door open, so maybe hopefully we'll have more Henry in the future. He said specifically though, not the remake, because that is one of the reasons he was a little pissed.
Right.
But it wasn't at Toei, I don't think. I think it was at the whole thing. Or maybe it was at Toei, I don't know. Anyway, there's more news. There is an app coming out, or that's out right now in Japan, which I haven't seen because I'm not in Japan, but it's going to be released everywhere else as well, called One Piece Base. It's going to be like a
all your base are belong to us.
That's it.
Yeah.
That actually does describe it quite well.
Very fresh meme.
It's manga. You know us. We're here for the fresh memes. Manga, anime, merch, games. It's supposed to be like a one-stop shop for all that. I wonder how that's going to work internationally, especially since different companies own all of those different things. But we'll see. We'll see. At New York Comic-Con, for anyone who's going to be there, I think it's this weekend. I think it's the 18th. Yeah. They're going to do a Mugiwara store pop-up there. According to our friend of the show, Kelly, I believe that's going to be a Harajuku pop-up, which I believe just means very cute shoppers and other things that I forget offhand. But please check that out. Those are always very cool. Mugiwara store has pretty consistently great merchandise, or enough merchandise that there is great merchandise, but there's so much of it that... There's also going to be a One Piece panel, including, here I get to pronounce names, Ryuta Koike, the producer, Satoshi Ito, the series director, and Masayuki Takagi, the creative director. Plus, here's the hard ones, the English dub cast, Colleen Clinkenbeard, voice of Luffy, and Christopher Sabat, voice... Sabat?
Chris Sabat, baby!
Yeah, voice of Zoro.
Sorry, just leaping up from the fucking stats.
Please do.
A #1 Chris Sabat fan. That's Vegeta. That's Piccolo.
Yeah, I know.
And
I think
various
it is
voices on One Piece. I think you're probably right. Yeah.
Yeah,
And Yamcha and Piccolo.
I'm confidently wrong on this.
Yes,
sorry, go ahead.
Nice. I love being confidently. That's the thing. I'm gullible for people who are confidently wrong. And last but not least, in 2025, which I thought was, this is how tired I am, Steven, speaking of tiredness, bringing this full circle here, that I thought these releases were soon. July 1st, 2025 is when One Piece Volume 109, titled On Your Side, comes out. I'm like, oh, that's really quick. That's really quick. It's 10 months away, or 9 months away. July 22nd, One Piece Heroines Volume 2 comes out. So look forward to those. That's the One Piece news. The One Piece podcast news is that you could subscribe to us at patreon.com/One Piece podcast for alternate images, alternate titles, all the fun stuff. The full series Forced to Watch 4 Kids from Steve and Alex. On the uncut, and ad-free episodes of our podcast. And that's just about it. So this week, we're going to go through One Piece Chapter 1129 right after these messages.
Right.
Da-da-da. Empire Today. This is the manga recap for chapter 1129, Livedolls. This chapter and all chapters come out as soon as they do in Japan at shonenjump.viz.com and mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp. They're also free and legal, which is cool. Everyone loves free and legal.
It wasn't always that way.
No, it wasn't. Ed, what's going on the front page?
Well, first of all, last week's author comment from Rodo was this. It was a message for the author of Jujutsu Kaisen. He says, Akutami-kun, congrats on 6.5 years. Take care of your health and let's go out to eat again. Those are Oda's priorities. Health and going out to dinner with going out to dinner with his friends. Like every other author comment is like him eating something or going to a concert.
Good
for him. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's reassuring, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the breaks have been reassuring to people, and that I think is also.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the cover page here for chapter 1129, Real Dolls. No, we're not even close to that, are we?
Yeah, actually, the way Oda wrote it, you would pronounce it Livedolls, but I think Livedolls is fine. I think this is a term we're only going to have for one chapter anyway. So,
so it's
no. It's all Livedolls.
On the cover page here, we have Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest, Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 16, Ninja Training at Amigasa Village, starring Tama and Shinobu.
Shinobu reverted,
yes.
Right? Because didn't she go through
unripened.
that whole... Oh, right, she ripened herself, right? Is that... Well, I guess she could... Oh, maybe she could, like, transform into
what was the dog's name?
ages of herself.
Tama's dog's name?
Inurashi?
Komachio.
Komachio. Who am I thinking of? Oh, that's Dog Storms.
Yes. Komachio.
Which I never called him that, which is funny.
So yeah, we got Tama throwing some kunai into a target.
Dartboard? Yeah.
Target as Shinobu looks on. Not
what do you call a ninja target?
I don't know. Not pleased or displeased. Yeah.
I think it's
I think it's
Shinobu's
bullseye jutsu.
Sort of nonplussed there. Yeah.
Yeah, where's the big red ball? Outside the target. Yeah. Okay.
Oh God.
Okay.
Oh no.
So
when I go with Noah to Target, always like big red ball.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. There's not really much to say about this. It's cute.
It's very cute. Yeah.
It's very cute. Steven, you want to start us up?
All right. So when we last saw the scene here, the sun god was lamenting the disaster befalling the sacred temple. He dropped his pizzas and screamed with the fires all around him. So all of the people in the town that we saw before, which now we know are just people dressed up in little doll costumes, they're like, Master Sun God, please quell your anger. Look over there, flames through the cracks in the sky. The kingdom is doomed. The world is ending. And so they're all freaking out. And the Sun God says, "You live dolls, you live dolls will pay for what you did to my room. To my temple and to my pets. To my servants." And we can see a nice long shot, a worm's eye view of the snake and the rats, who are all beaten up and bloodied, as we can see past the steps and the table and the netting and all the stuff that leads through the door into his little kingdom as he walks inside to mete out justice on the interlopers. And so the Straw Hats are on the back of Master Iscat, and they're all commenting here. Nami's like, "Why is that guy so freaky?" And Zoro says, "God, he looks more like a demon." Of course, referring to his big antler head skull that he's wearing. And Usopp's looking ahead. He's like, "The town, look out for the slope." And Luffy's like, so this is all made out of blocks, huh? Jump, cat. And the people are all freaking out as Lord Iscat leaps directly over the little Lego city.
The editors did the assistants did a really great job with the Lego city.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, great perspective here. You can see the size of the cat as it...
You could really see what Oda did and the assistants did on this particular panel.
Yeah.
And Luffy, who is speaking for the Lego nerd and all of us, he's like, "Hey, if he put in all the work to build this, we got to split without busting it up." So
this is my favorite Luffy moment. I'm going to say it right now. As someone who hated getting their Legos busted up, I love this. Is great.
This is very out of character for him. Honestly.
It is.
I think it is.
In a very sweet way. It's like, he cares because somebody put time into it. This is like, it seems out of character until you go a level deeper. It's like, this is this guy's treasure. This is classic.
Right.
Yeah.
It does make sense.
Well done.
Same thing. I think same thing for why he did not want to eat the cat after they beat it up. There was something about the cat's special. We need the cat. The rabbit is whatever, but this cat is cool.
Rabbits
Why are those other pets
good
dead?
at eating a rabbit? Like, where's the line there? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Are the pets on the last page? Are they dead? I cannot determine where we are going to draw the line on which pets are allowed to die.
So that was a snake and what was the other
rat.
one again?
Yeah.
Porcupine? Is that the porcupine?
And there was a raven or something too, right?
Yeah.
That we see
the
later
raven's off
as
the
well.
side. Yeah, you can see his wing. Their eyes are whited out. They're not X'd, so I think they're
true.
good.
Yeah.
Remember, Vegapunk's eyes were X'd.
Exactly.
So that's how you know. Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah, so despite Luffy's warnings, though, the cat just lands directly on top of the just like a real cat would. He just lands right on top of the Lego house, and meow. And Luffy is like, "What did I just say, cat?"
This is based on a true story that
Yes.
Oda had. I'm positive. I've never been more positive. I do want to say, which I'll say at the end too, we really called a lot of the dynamics that are going to be happening here, and I think that's just because we know Oda and we know what he's going through. Anyway, next page, I really love the layout for this one personally. I'll say, and now I'll get into it. So we have the giant nerd with a skull on his head, saying, "Wait, Cat, why are you helping them?" And you get a loud "wow" as the cat jumps over the Lego precipice. As Usopp said, "Hitching a ride on this cat took us to the ends of the world in no time." And Luffy, I do love the little Oda heads for both of them here. Says, "No, it just keeps going, it looks like, though." And meanwhile, Usopp says, "Well, I told you, Luffy, just look at the schematics." And Nami, for some reason, tosses out the giant schematics and says, "Don't worry, I got it memorized. You don't have to worry about it. I know." I felt like that was going to come into play later, but I think it just is here to show Nami's a badass and could remember things. And here we enter... we see the tree Yggdrasil, whatever it was supposedly called. Yggdrasil.
I want to say real quick, it's really nice to have Nami doing stuff that's not talking on a phone, telling other people where people are.
She is the smartest member of the crew.
Yeah,
that's true.
But like a lot of like the end of Vegapunk was like just a lot of that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Does Robin not count as the smartest? I feel like Robin's the smartest.
Yeah.
She reads all those books.
Nami's
up there.
She's the most practically intelligent.
Yeah, that's it. She has street smarts, is I believe the terminology that I've heard. Anyway, so you got Luffy and Nami with the ears on either side. This is a very cute panel. As she says, "Look over there. You can see the mirror door from earlier being reflected back," I assume is what we're seeing here. And and on second look, the clouds are just cotton fluff hanging from the ceiling. I don't know how we didn't notice that.
Yeah.
It seems like an oversight.
Where are the strings?
You know now what I hope from the anime here? I want this all to be like stop motion around them, and like the the only things animated are the Straw Hats. I think that would be fun. They're never going to do that, but I think that would be fun. No, not in a million freaking years. Zoro, with his, let's say, very cool goggles, says, "It might look huge to us, but to a giant, it's just a regular old room." And Chopper, chimes in that, yes, Zoro's right here. And Sanji mentions that, and because all the walls are mirrors, it just looks like the scenery goes on forever and ever and ever and ever. And Nami says, "So we'll reach the end in no time. We just have to keep going straight." And we got a map, an overhead view of the toy room, the Lego castle, whatever you want to call it, the Lego kingdom. As we see the mirrors on all sides, the world tree, Yggdrasil, that I'm not going to pretend I could pronounce that.
Yggdrasil. Yeah. Yggdrasil.
And you can't do an Australian accent?
No.
I think you could if you tried.
I refuse.
Because you did that.
Thank you.
We,
You don't know if I'm right though. You just like, sorry.
yeah, but you were wrong convincingly, which is really the lesson for today. And we see they're already halfway there across this so-called kingdom. Cohen, what happens next?
Yeah, I gotta say just real quick, my blood ran cold when I saw this map. I was like, oh god, how long are we gonna be here? Like, I think he's just establishing. It's a little complicated, the concept, but okay. So now we got the we don't have a name for this guy yet, do we? We're calling him Sun God. Okay,
well, we will soon, but
yeah. All right, I'm gonna throw it to my boy Eric Vale and try a little Tomura Shigaraki for this guy. I see. So you have seen the schematics, and now imagine you have figured out this world, have you? Yet this was originally a holding cell for giants. And Zoro comes in, a net? And Sanji is like, is it just me, or is he talking a bit like a samurai?
Wait,
that's Netflix Sanji. Yeah, it's Netflix Sanji. He's so charming. I can't help it.
He is very charming. He's taken over the actual character.
I can't help it. I really like.
I thought we weren't pandering to Netflix. I think we were very specifically shooting them down earlier. But okay, whatever.
Fair enough. I'll switch it up if he talks again.
But not Taz. We would never do that to Taz.
It was built to prevent giants from escaping. Oh, I should. So he's swinging a big metal net with metal spikes on it. The sun god is. He was trying to swing this down onto the cat. And he says, it was built to prevent giants from escaping. It matters not if you reach the wall. From Iscat as the net goes down around him. For you will never break through it. That is only a dead end. Defu fu fu fu. This is what's going to go in the wiki under his name. Tagline, distinctive laugh for this character. Come on, cat, you're supposed to dodge that. As the net has closed around Iscat and also all the Straw Hats inside. This is a metal net.
That was Zoro, right? Or that was Luffy. That's Luffy.
Oh, my mistake.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah.
Shit.
You can actually see. You can see he's got his arms like indignantly on his hips in behind the net there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and contextually, I guess that made no sense for that. That's fine. It was still in italics. Come on, cat, you're supposed to dodge that. And
were you trying to do what's his name?
Yeah, and I won't do it again. As soon as I did it, I was like, I probably shouldn't do that. I probably shouldn't do it. That's probably not great. So I'm just gonna leave that where I left it. What happened to Lord Iscat? Who's that riding on him? Just keep moving. And Zoro prepares to draw his sword moving. Sanji gears up a flaming kick as they I was like, well, there's a metal net, how is Zoro ever going to get through this? And then he cuts through it with Sanji's help as from Iscat does the big 2 arms out Superman cat leap to escape from the net. Very good. I love this.
I want to hear from Steven. Has Simba done any of these moves? The destroying Lego sets, the jumping. Simba, for those who for some reason wouldn't know, is the mascot of the One Piece podcast, Steven's cat.
No, he hasn't done these.
Busting out of a metal net?
No, not the metal net. We keep him secure in the metal net. No.
Good to know. I'm calling the ASPC.
Yeah, I walked into that one. But on the next page, the sun god is shocked. They broke through the metal wire. But he's like, no matter. The cruel and violent ear god awaits them ahead. As Iscat is
a little late for that.
This is a very funny pose here of the cat, like bounding away. Very, very cute. And the people are like, and then these poor saps have to deliver the bad news. Oh, mighty sun god, we have some bad news about the ear god. And he is stopping. He's like, and then we see the after effects of what was previously only mentioned. There's just a smoking skeleton somewhere in this model set here. And if you look closely, you can even see at the bottom, like you can see where it's kind of melted. I feel like right between the bubbles there, it looks a little kind of wavy. Like the fires have melted the resin or the plastic or whatever. And the people say, it was mysteriously burned to death earlier today. The sight was heartbreaking and more than a little ominous. Just before bizarre cracks appeared in the sky. It is an accursed day. And we see from the perspective of the skeleton, the sun god in the distance, observing, and he's thinking, they defeated it? Impossible. That was a vicious carnivorous rabbit.
Yeah, look at its teeth.
Yeah, I mean, that looks
he's adorable.
Pretty nasty.
This feels like some reputation management. Seeing this rabbit, like after we got killed, it feels like that chapter came out. It's like they killed a rabbit. And he's like, I got to make sure everybody knows this rabbit was an asshole.
Especially
no,
since you see the
it's vicious.
skeleton.
It's that
The
rabbit from
skeleton
Monty
of it
Python.
burned.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's the Monty
that
Python
is-
rabbit.
It's like he's got to look. He's got to look like he's got cruel cunning, and like he's kind of vicious and mean.
Yes. In fact, he has a name, the Glut Bunny. And we see that. Yeah, it was a.
It's
it was
funny
a big
when
boy.
Steven just said it.
Yeah.
What was it in Japanese?
Glut Bunny.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm not sure.
Well,
it might have
credit to
been
that one.
It might have been intended as like a gluttony pun, maybe.
Yes.
Glut Bunny. And he's silent. He's not
gluttony.
saying anything. And the people are like, we found it just like that. It wasn't
didn't
us.
do anything.
Yeah. And he continues, and I imagine, based on what we're going to learn, like I feel like this is a very like Mike Judge sort of laugh, like he's going, duh, 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 lovely, wonderful. This too is how the world works. A story without a script, unfolding in my little walled garden. And yeah, he's doing some kind of dramatic like hand to his forehead sort of pose here, as
He's a
he
huge
chuckles
nerd.
to himself. Yeah. He says,
I was going to say,
under-"
Stephen, you're making him sound way too cool.
Well, he's got his cool mask on right now. So
He does have his cool mask. When he takes it off, I guess we can
Yeah.
find out.
A nerd with a cool mask is exactly why I went for Tomoe Shigaraki for the voice.
There you go.
I see.
He says, I underestimated them. They're most exciting after all. Now the world I created has developed its own evil and its own heroes. Let me turn the page.
Alex.
History is being written before my
No,
eyes.
that's just how time works.
That's a good one.
Got him.
This is the charm of my little live dolls, the mini world that belongs only to me. And then you see some of our citizens of Blockland or Legoland saying, "This might be our only chance. The way out is open to us. Let's flee while we can. Tell all the others." And they see this yet unnamed sun god laughing in the distance, and Luffy wonders what he's laughing about. And he says, "Now dance and struggle in my palm. High Rootin may accept you, but I do not. So what is your move?" Usopp unleashes a special attack Green Star Skull Blast Grass.
There's your move.
Yep.
And Ed's. I
That's
definitely
right.
remember having opinions about Skull Blast Grass.
No, Platanus was our one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the
The weed one.
Yeah.
yeah, the weed one. The weed buzzsaw. And it makes a huge explosion, as this move is wont to do. Usopp says, "No good. It only broke the mirror. That wall is really tough." And Luffy says, "Okay, I got this one," as he cracks his knuckles. And we hear the sun god say, "Good. Yes, this pleases me. Helpless dolls fighting back against fate. Best story ever." Part of the world is despair and hopelessness, and part of history is defeat and disappointment.
Shut up, nerd.
Okay, so all right. So here's my first little note here is yes, we can see now we're getting to some of the nerdy parts of this guy. One of the things that he does say here in his little gloating panel with the best story ever is he uses this term kamikai, which means it's the kanji for God and for like time or rotation, or in this context it would be like episode or story, and it's like an internet slang phrase that people use when it's like, oh, that was a really good episode. It was like, oh, kamikai, that was like, it was a God episode basically.
Oh God.
And
Best episode ever.
yeah. So I channeled
Am I right?
I channeled a
Comic
little comic book guy there for that one.
Kino.
Damn, I should have read that better.
He's kind of
I was
comic
trying.
book guy with his
Yeah.
live dolls in near mint condition.
He took them out of the packages, Ed.
Yeah.
That's a rookie
No.
mistake. Yeah. You don't do that.
Their resale value has plummeted.
There it is. Did you get through? I forget where we left
I did,
off.
yeah. Next page.
Chika.
Okay. So Sun God has his staff and his arms outstretched, looking up at the sky, and then he says, "The tragic folly of the week, and yet so brave, a real tearjerker. I am so glad to have you in my collection. Ultra rare Luffy, ultra rare Zolo, ultra rare Nami, heart, ultra rare Usopp." And then you see Iskat's basically on the edge, all teeth is out, trying to get the hell away. So now we see, also, ultra rare Sanji, ultra rare Chopper.
Oh, he's still going.
Yes. So then Nami says, "Wait, how does he know who we are?" And Chopper says, "What does he mean, ultra rare?"
That's a good question. I'd like
Yes.
to know.
All right. Is it time for the next one? All right.
Yeah.
So this is
Steven Corner. Steven.
Yeah.
Steven Nerd Corner. That's what
Yes.
we'll call it.
This one will take a little while. So in Japanese, what he says for all of these names is he says tasso. He's like Luffy tasso, Zoro tasso, Nami tasso, Usopp tasso, and all of that. So what this is it is a bit of, I would say, 2000s era internet slang. It is the Japanese equivalent of like leet speak, basically. So
Is this like
if
2-channel
you-
speech?
yeah, 2chan. If
Oh my god.
you so if you've ever learned katakana or tried to study katakana, you know that, similar to some letters in English, there are certain characters that are like fairly similar, and they're kind of like the bane of every student's existence, where they're like, I can't tell which of these is which. And there's like 3 in particular in katakana that are very similar, and that is ri, ri, so, so, and the solitary n. And so they all have 2 strokes. There's a shorter stroke on the left, and then there's like a twice as long stroke on the right. And ri is like they're basically they're parallel in vertical. So it's like, okay, short stroke on the left, long stroke on the right. And then so is same 2 sizes, but they're slightly angled towards each other, so they're more diagonal. And then is even closer to horizontal, where the smaller one on the left is almost horizontal there. And so they're all just the same thing, but at slightly different angles. And it's the sort of thing where, especially depending on the font or depending on the handwriting, if it's drawn out, you'll often get people like, I can't tell what this is. Like, you have to use context to know for sure which character is which. And so that is the basis for some of the leet speak stuff that they used to do back in the 2000s, where like instead of writing an in katakana, they would use the character for so instead. So it's very close. It looks similar, but it is not exactly the same, which is pretty much exactly what leet speak was. Like, you would use the 3 for E and all the other weird, text stuff that people used to do online back then.
So you could type with the number pad because you were using WASD with your left hand.
Yeah, pretty much. And so like whenever it's the sort of thing that people would do whenever they were being cheeky or, being slangy or just kind of playful, is you would use so instead of And one of the ways that manifested was another internet bit of slang, which is tan, T-A-N, which is like an online equivalent to chan, like when Nami-chan or Robin-chan or whatever, people used to say tan online instead, which is like a super cutesy version. And I think probably in English, the most recognizable example of those was when they used to do the OS tan things, which were like Moe versions of Windows tan and OS tan and all that sort of stuff. So that's basically like where I
think that James
from.
Franco's body pillow on 30 Rock was named Kimiko-tan.
You're right. Yeah.
Oh,
I think
that's
it was.
right. Yeah.
Or Chan. I can't remember if it was Chan or Tan.
Mm-hmm.
I just watched that episode again. I'm in my 30 Rock rewatch cycle.
Oh, your hand's so warm. It's like putting a pillow in the microwave.
So he's using Tasso here, and I think it's one of those things where, like, yes, it was like super nerdy internet stuff like 2 decades ago, but it's sort of like everyone who grew up in that generation like is familiar with it. And I do believe that maybe there's even like an idol singer or some other like famous person right now who like part of their nickname is Tasso as part of their thing. So that might be what he is kind of drawing on. But so basically, here's the situation.
How does
so
that
you
become
have this
ultra
guy.
rare?
Yeah. Okay. So this is the thing. So he's saying Tasso, 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 blah, blah, blah. So what you need to have, what you got here is a guy who is, he's using a repetitive reference to each member. So he's saying it over and over again. It sounds nonsensical. So like you have Chopper reacting like, what's that mean? And it is a somewhat meta, like, it doesn't really sound like it should belong in the world of One Piece. It's a slightly outside the box bit of slang. And so I was like, okay, well, I thought about Tasso. I could use, like there's an example in Skypia when they say Hesso, right? And that's the exact same, like, Konas shows up and it's like, hey, everyone, Hesso. And they're like, what the hell is Hesso? What are you talking about? But there, it's basically a non sequitur. Like it sounds like belly button, but it's just kind of a nonsense thing. It's like, it's like their own exotic terminology, like aloha or something. But here, this is very clearly like it is meant to be parsed as like, oh, he's like a nerd, like he's being a weird geek right now. So it has to be something that you would recognize from real life, and it has to be something that is like some people are going to get it and some people are not. So for some people, it's funny that Chopper is like, what does that mean? And for other people, it's like, yeah, Chopper, like Chopper's right. What does that mean? So my solution for this is basically because he's talking about his collection and his little miniature world here is that he's referring to them as ultra rares, like they're gacha game characters.
Or cards.
So it's like, yeah, it's like Genshin Impact or like One Piece Treasure Cruise or something where, the character, I rolled a rare Luffy or a super rare or an ultra rare. And so that was my version of this to try to get across that he's this weird nerd who's going on his own world about whatever his interest is, and no one else really understands what it is that he's talking about.
Can't relate to that.
Yeah.
No, you have a whole podcast.
What? Since when?
Yeah. No, I think
How
it
did
could
this
be.
microphone get here?
It could be like I don't know, when you get special edition like figures, Funko Pops,
Yeah.
or me when I get out of print manga, just like this is ultra rare, like you can't get this like anywhere, like this is different.
Nobody else can have it but me.
And then your parents are like, I have no idea what you're talking about right now. And that's Chopper here.
I think it's well chosen, Stephen, because I think it also denotes him as a nerd with means.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like he's which
Yep.
I think is what they're going for here. Is like he's not just a nerd; he is a rich
He's
nerd.
a rich
He's
nerd,
an
yeah.
affluent nerd. Yeah.
That's what he uses his treasure on.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll get there. Yeah, Chika,
Okay.
we can keep going. Now that we've nerded this sufficiently.
Yeah. So now Luffy's ready to kick some ass and to get out. So he says, time to bust open a hole. Mini Gear 4. And then his arms like turns like super you know what it is. So it's like gets super big. Doom comes out.
Is this retconning the Gear Third thing from the other week that everyone
Gear 4,
was?
yeah.
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 I wonder.
So now we have Nami and Usopp. So Nami is saying, hey, Usopp, natural disasters aren't anyone's fault, right? To which Usopp says, I mean, sure, earthquakes, floods, lightning, you can't blame those on anybody. So then Nami's just like, well, I think we've been through plenty of enough terror for one day. I'm sick of this guy. And
What a
then,
face.
right, just
Excellent
over
face.
it, just pissed,
Usopp here, I think. Is the...
Yeah. Usopp's like, oh, I get it, but we don't want to anger the giants. Meanwhile, Sanji's full on just mad. Just like, I know how you feel, Nami. I feel the same rage towards this jerk. I just can't get the thought out of my mind of him changing your clothes. Like full snot, tears, anger, everything.
It's an excellent Sanji face. That's like ugly Sanji face.
Jealousy is not a good look on Sanji in this particular moment.
No,
Makes sense though.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I get it, because, when you have dolls, you like to change their clothes, but then this is just a bit more sinister, so...
Oh, yeah.
They're real people.
They're real people with feelings.
They're live dolls, yes.
And emotions, yes. I won't rest until I crush him to bits with my foot. And then someone says, you mustn't do that, Sanji. Can't really pinpoint who it is. I
assume Nami, because that's who he's talking to,
Nami.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You mustn't do that, Sanji. We see the sun god just kind of staring around at his Legoland with his staff. And then he's like, I wouldn't worry, though. This is not the sun god.
This is Nami, I think.
This is Nami, I think.
Okay. I wouldn't worry, though. He'll get his divine retribution. Which shocks the sun god, because he's just like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm the only one. I'm the divine one. I'm God here. So then we see Haj, I think that's Haj Rudin. So Mugen.
This is our sun god here.
Oh, that's wait.
This is the guy, yeah.
This is the guy.
My bad. Okay. Mugen, what have you brought me this time? Okay. So then they say, wait, this is the Straw Hat crew? This
is a little flashback here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Flashback. Wait, this is the Straw Hat crew? Ka? The giant pirates were sailing out to escort them back? And mind you, they're kind of passed out on the floor.
It's absinthe. It does that.
Yeah. Or is it?
I do. It is. Probably. I know it might not be, but I'm gonna say it's absinthe. I think it's funny that Mugen replies. I did not realize that until Chico was reading it.
So Mugen just plucked the ship out of the ocean and brought it to him. Because it was
for no particular reason.
Like a cat. I was like, I found this lizard.
Yeah.
Check it out. Yeah.
Get that out of my house.
Safe to presume this is probably where he's gotten most of his
live dolls.
His live dolls, yes. Let the snot bubble sleep. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's cute.
Yeah.
You're on Cohen.
Oh, okay, yeah. So then we've got the sun god, but in this flashback, he is not wearing his cool Guardian of the Forest skull. He does have like a kind of a katakuri scarf over the mouth.
I kind of like how his real face kind of looks like the red herring guy from Perfect Blue.
Yeah.
So I want to mention
who it is.
Yeah, I think we should, and I'm going to post it for us, and I'll try and remember to post it in the description. Steven, did you want to do the honors?
Yeah, well, he actually doesn't get named in this chapter, but
it's not Loki, is it?
No. This is his name is, at least in the Viz version, I had his name as Rodo. A lot of people call him Rode for whatever reason. I think that's what it's on the. I think that's what's on the wiki, but he was initially just mentioned by name in, I want to say it was Linlin's flashback, Big Mom's flashback, and then we saw him in the cover story because he's one of Hyruden's new giant pirates, where we saw like one of them, and we saw like there was Gerd, the lady pirate, the lady giant, and some of the other guys. I forget what they're all. Goldberg was one of them.
Oh, Goldberg. That's right. Who looked like Goldberg.
Right. And so this is Rodo. So this is one of Hyruden's giants who presumably was part of Buggy's group before Hyruden split them off.
He's the navigator, right? That's the...
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember.
Yes.
Yeah, Ken posted it in the Discord.
And I just posted it for all you here. It's chapter 898 for those curious.
I do wonder if Ken had this fresh in his mind because of the character collab.
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
So, by the way, it's
kind of got a face like melted candle wax.
He looks like a big nerd, man. Like, he looks like he hasn't bathed.
So it's Hyruden Stanson, who was apparently one of the auction house folks.
Yes.
Who was freed alongside.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's right,
Amy.
yeah.
Rodo, Goldberg, and Gerd are them. Yeah. Formerly of Buggy's Pirates, he was very upset when they left. You could go ahead now.
Okay, so we got Rodo. He's got the scarf. He says, boy, I sure did commit to this voice for a lot of dialogue. That's fine. Don't they realize what happened? They seem very deep asleep. Did they pass through the sleeping mists on the route to Egghead? Oh, well, that's a little... fine, that's what I'm going...
Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah, that's what it is, isn't it? Okay, well, all right. When I heard that Hyruden had cast aside his dignity and become his henchman, I was furious. Are you insane? We got the flashback. Not at all. Yelling at Hyruden. Does that make me, a member of the new giant pirates, a henchman too? An almighty warrior of Elbath, subservient to some tiny human?
There's dignity in henching.
More and more people are saying this. Has he no pride? And then he picks up Luffy and he's disgusted. Just look at this tiny, frail figure. And then he looks at Nami, who's sort of fetal position on the side. But Nami here, she's my Oshi. Oops. And he's being a creep.
Wait, we need a Steven here, right?
Okay, you need the Oshi.
For us non-nerds.
Oshi, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, this is another fun one. So he uses a term. So Oshi, if you don't know, is a fairly contemporary slang in Japanese that it literally means push. It's like the noun form of the verb to push or to like recommend.
Like Oshidashi is a finishing move in sumo. You push them out of the ring.
Right. Yeah. But in a modern sense, it refers to like your favorite. It was originally specifically for like idol groups where, you know, there's going to be like 5 or AKB48 or whatever. You have like the one favorite and you're like, oh, I want her to have, or I want him to have like all the attention. Like people need to recognize this one is my favorite. And that is basically what Oshi means. So like I believe in K-pop, they say bias. That's a popular term. Oshi is basically just the Japanese version of that. And it's kind of been adapted in some ways. So like what he says, he doesn't actually literally say Oshi. What he says is oseru, which is like the sort of potential verb form of it. So it's sort of like saying, you know, oh, I could push this person, or they're pushable or something, which is basically their way of saying like, oh, I have no choice but to stand. That's, you know, kind of like the equivalent of what they say. But I figured, you know, since he is kind of a nerd and he has this boner for Nami, I figured like, okay, well, Oshi, a lot of people I know, at least anime fans, are familiar with Oshi no Ko, which really helped popularize the term because that's an idol.
I have heard of that
anime, yeah. And so that, you know, it's right in the title there, and so I was like, okay. I was like, you know, it's a little bit of a stretch for, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of people that aren't going to get it, but I was like, I think in this context, it's all right because, you know, he is using very nerdy terminology and it's something you can look up and find without.
You mentioned how he was meta in the way he speaks. So
yes,
that's reasonable. I think that's reasonable.
Like saying she's my bae. basically.
Yeah. I could have gone with Bay too, but a little more modern here.
This guy is a little weebier, I think, than just someone who'd say that. Sorry, go ahead, Cohen.
So he's being a creep. He's spraying some sort of sleeping gas on the already sleeping at the time, because they're all drunk and passed out is the idea, right? That's why, right? Or did they get hit with some kind of sleeping gas while they were? We haven't seen.
They were all drunk on absence. Yeah.
He says the sleeping mist, so presumably that's a thing,
right?
Is it supposed to be on the route to Egghead or from Egghead? Is that
It's the same thing.
That's a good point. The route to Egghead
from his perspective, it's to Egghead. I got it. Okay, I figured.
And then he is standing in the dark like a total creep. He says, "I need you to go back to sleep, and when you wake up again, you'll simply go missing to the rest of the world." We pick it back up in the present. He's walking around with his, now that the netting is gone from this net, I really see the sun god vibe of this, instead you'll be stuck in here with me, struggling to get free. I will not serve you. You will serve me. Yep. And then Nami says, and this is just going to be how she sounds, "Are you ready, Zeus?" "I'm positively crackling, Nami." "What is that? I never made that," he says, looking up at this, the gathering of Zeus. Says, "Take it away."
It's an evil piece of cotton hanging from the evil piece of cotton clouds.
Yeah. This is the dark. This is
not the
dark
evil cotton.
Yeah. Zeus, who is just, God, I love Zeus. Such a fun idea. She stole her ultimate weapon. It rules. Zeus crackling with energy. We see a zoom in shot on Rodo's eye. Lightning blast! As a lot of lightning. That's a giant. That is a huge bolt of lightning. That is a shitload of lightning.
That's some Eneru lightning.
I mean, yeah. What? The sun god! All his other Livedolls who are way too sun god pilled for my taste, personally. It's fun though to see some chumps. We haven't seen some chumps in a while. Everybody's been so strong. It's fun to just see some guys who suck who are on board with somebody else who sucks. They're very upset to see him get electrocuted.
Did they say something at one point? It's like, "Oh, let's flee while we can." Yeah, on the page 10. So I think they're more just shocked at what's going on. I don't know if they're some. I'm sure some buy into the whole cult of the sun god, but
Well, yeah, one is clutching his head while drop shoot out, classic, "I can't believe they hit Buggy that hard," type.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll throw it to Ed, the last 2 pages.
Okay. So now back to Luffy, who says, "I hate to leave, but we gotta go," as he rears his fist back for a gum. And Zoro says, "Outside at last." And Sanji's like, "Take that, giant perv."
You're one to talk.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
And so Zeus disappears back into the climate act. Is that what that schwip is?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that either. Yeah, that's what that is.
And Luffy unleashes a gum Kong gun. Ah! Yeah.
That's what it sounds like, I'm sure.
Yeah. And then
And
he says, Luffy's like, "We're outside." Uh-huh.
But we don't see what he's looking at.
Let's not forget Usopp, who is praying, "Please let it be Elbaf outside." Speaking for all of us.
Oh, I missed that too. Yeah, that's.
I agree.
Oh, please don't let this still be Egghead.
We're back.
That would.
Take
that would
that
be
giant
funny.
perv is the line of the chapter for me.
Okay, but it matters who's saying it, and the fact that Sanji is the one saying it is funny. And the Kingdom of Blocks. So at Legoland, I liked Alex's terminology for Kingdom of Legos or something like that. There is a chapter next week.
To be continued.
So that's good. So we're going to be back To be continued. Thank you, Ed. That is important. Otherwise,
there
we
is
don't
more
know.
One Piece in the future.
otherwise we're
Not
screwed.
ending like Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.
See you at the crossroads. Sukuna.
Chika, do you want to go first? Your thoughts on the chapter?
I like that I like that the sun god was electrocuted. Because that
I always
was
say
for
this.
me, because I was just like, okay, like you're not, and she was a little too calm too, right? Because I was just like, okay, Nami, somebody just is changing your clothes, is touching on you. You like out. Normally you'd be big mad, right? But she didn't have to. She was just ready instead. She's like, okay, checkmate with this
Zap.
big thing of lightning. So I really liked that. The ultra rare stuff it was cool to learn more about, but I also thought in general that was funny. It was just like ultra rare Luffy, ultra rare. I'm just like, okay, cool. But yeah, I guess in general I liked it. I think it was a really fun chapter, and I hope that they're in Elbaf in the next one, but we will see.
Cohen.
Loved it. I really loved this segment. This little run of chapters. Classic. Starting us off with something crazy going off in One Piece. I don't remember the last time. Like it's nice. It's that old familiar feeling. It's the here we're thrown in the mix, figure it out as we go over a period of a couple of months. I think this segment was really good for establishing scale, which is probably going to matter a lot. And like having to be like, okay, this seemed like a whole kingdom, but it was just one room of one building of one guy's house or wherever it is, or a jail cell which is interesting. I love that Luffy has already won the loyalty of a big animal. We are hit. I think it was really great to start with the core 4, core 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they like sort of added. They did it's our core 4, core 5, and then Chopper. Oh, I'm great at math.
6, core 5 plus 1, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like I wonder if we're gonna get Robin next. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
7.
I wonder.
Core 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could count. Oh no, I'm counting Luffy twice. That's the issue. 6.
Don't that's nothing wrong
Luffy
with that.
does count twice. Yeah.
But we're kind of going in order. We're kind of like rebuilding like in the order that they joined, which I think is fun. That's it feels like after Egghead felt very long. I know we'd all been waiting to see. I think the last time I was on here, they were beginning to escape from Egghead. That was like a year ago. Like it was long.
There were a lot of breaks. I think it was fair, long for the weekly reader. Yeah, it was very long for the weekly reader. It was 2 plus years.
I'm sure I'll blitz right through it on a reread, same as I always do. But this felt action packed. It's fun. It's old. It's that old familiar feeling. I love it. Great chapter.
Ed,
I'm really loving this characterization of Rodo as a giant rich nerd. Like you can see it in the first page where he's like, "What you did to my room, my temple?" Like that's like it's the collector's room is his temple, and he's very offended at what happened to it, which makes sense. But I don't know. He's just sort of this toxic nerd who's collecting people like toys, and has that kind of regard for humanity. So he treats people as toys, and yeah.
It's kind of interesting to see if that's going to be a contrast to how the other giants act. Like, is this just unique to Rodo, or is that going to be indicative of
he uses, like,
how a lot of the
outdated
other
internet
giants
speak,
are?
Seemingly.
But Stephen, it actually like made me think of the Fishman Island stuff. That is prescient now.
Which
with
part?
The fish. The fact that there are like 2 kind of different schools of thought on Fishman Island. There are the ones that like humans and there are the ones that hate humans. Like I'm putting it very simply, but there's that. And this feels like he's like, my ideology is that we can't be ruled over by little tiny humans.
Like what's going on as a story that's
Hyrule
unfolding in front of him, like it's like someone is writing it. Like it's being scripted for him and only him, because he's the most important person in the world. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's got to be weird to be a giant and sail out for the first time, and you go to the first island, you're like, wow, a whole island of tiny people, and you go to the second island, you're like, another, and then the third is like, wait, hold on a second, like, hold on a minute, are we really big? Are we just really big? It would weird you out.
As the last few chapters, I'm having a little bit of a hard time following some of the action, but I did think it was funny. Like, Sanji was funny, and like Nami shocking him was pretty funny as well. And just his whole demeanor is very funny to me right now. So Oda's bringing the funny, and I like it. Yeah, Zach, what do you think?
Indeed.
It's light.
Sure.
Oh, I'm gonna go with Steven. I'll go at the end. I don't have to go.
Yeah, it is a fun chapter. I like that it's a very neat. It forms the very neat third of an intro to this arc. Like, you could obviously, with the way that it is set up at the end, where they break out and the last thing that you see is just Luffy's reaction to what we don't know what it is. Like, we don't know what he's seeing, but he's definitely excited about what it is. And I do really like it. Could be anything. I really like how that works, because I remember, and I specifically mentioned this in the first of these chapters, where I was like, man, it seemed like they introduced Yggdrasil and the whole like view of Elbaf very casually. Like, it wasn't even like a full 2-page spread. It was just it was one of Oda's like big sort of overlap panels. And learning that it was all just basically, a train, model train set room version of that, made it make so much more sense of like, oh, that's why Oda didn't really treat it with a lot of pomp and circumstance, because it's not actually the thing that I thought it was. And that makes me very excited to see how he will actually handle that, possibly next chapter. I don't know. But it is fun. It is funny that, like, I want to say, because me being unspoilable, because I see the chapters first, like, sometimes out of curiosity, like when people start talking about the leaks and the text spoilers and hints and things start popping out, sometimes I'll just browse through and see what people are saying just out of curiosity. And apparently the scuttlebutt on this chapter was like, all the leakers were like, mid chapter, it's stupid. And I can only assume it's because all of their theories and power scaling about the sun god were revealed to be completely trivialized, because he's just a nerd, and he's just like a rando guy that we've seen before.
Like looking into a mirror for the scan for the leaker reader.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know for sure. I didn't dig too deeply, but it is kind of funny, because I feel like he's basically going to be destined to. He's like the Urashima of the Elbaf arc, like, the sumo wrestler that Luffy beat, and then we just never saw him again. He was completely a complete non-entity for the rest of Wano, just kind of a colorful character. And I think that's a fun. I mean, obviously, it is kind of challenging, because obviously you're inviting people along on this journey, and they're trying to figure out this fiendish puzzle that you've created for them. And then to have it turn out to be, it's just all this kind of nerds, little game that he set up for himself, can feel like it's sort of trivializing all of the guesswork that you were doing. But I do think it was a chance for Oda to do something fun that doesn't have to necessarily play into anything larger. It can just be a fun little vignette, and a bit of a tease to get us excited for the eventual big Elbaf reveal, pun intended. So yeah, I don't know. It's fun. It's also kind of like, okay, so we've gotten that out of the way. Let's see what Elbaf is really about now. So I'm
story is beginning.
More anticipatory than anything at this point. Yes,
it feels like Fallout leaving the vault. It's like you tell a tight little story in a contained area.
Sure.
So engaged in just this thing, and then you're like, oh, this was just a tiny corner of a vast world. Very excited for them to blink and see the landscape.
And one last thing about Rodo is we didn't mention it, but there was that kind of line about is he me or is he talking like a samurai? That was a little thing that was kind of hard to get across, but he does use, and this is the thing, it's not it's not consistent. So like when he gets emotional, he'll just talk more like a regular voice, but he does use a lot of like he calls himself Sessha, which is sort of like the classic samurai pronoun. It's like what's his name, Kenshin uses, and says like Degozaru and stuff like that. And that
Kinemon.
is, like Kinemon. That is a thing that some like otaku sort of nerds do in Japanese. Like it's not like a super common thing, but it is kind of part of the like the stereotypical like nerd who tries to make himself
not all
more
nerds do this, but
interesting than
only
he
nerds
really
do
is.
this.
It's kind of like
It's that first page.
Yes, yeah, thank you, Ed. Kind of like Madarame from Genshiken, or what's the guy from Steins Gate, who is a really over the top nerd.
The guy from Dan to Dan.
I haven't caught up on that one, but but it is kind of interesting that like also he's using this stuff that within the world of One Piece, it's like Wano specific. Like he's talking like a samurai. The samurai come from Wano, but he's obviously a giant. He is not from Wano, so he's kind of
a weeb.
He embodies both otaku and weeb, if that makes sense. Parts of both, which I thought was really really funny to consider. But that's my last bit of info.
Would you say he's like an incel, or is that too far?
I was gonna say
maybe a little bit. I don't know. It's hard to say without seeing how he reacts.
Well, when he was talking
giants,
about like ultra rare,
like,
I was getting a little bit of like
really is that
Augustus
kind of
St. Cloud
toxic
from
nerd.
Venture Brothers off of him. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't be that mean to Augustus St. Cloud.
Just eat the pennies, Luffy.
You guys are gonna feel so bad in like 50 chapters when we get this guy's tragic backstory and find out that he collects these little Livedolls because his kids died or some. This is gonna be Pink Baby all over the game.
I don't care about Senor Pink at all.
Kidnapping. I don't think I'm gonna feel bad about kidnapping.
You make an extremely good point, and I withdraw my hypothesis.
I was going to say, I was just going to say that Senor Pink's backstory, I know for some people gets them, but I'm sorry. You could just stop being a pirate. It was very easy. What did I think? I was just like that first page, Steven, I think goes right to the crux of what you were saying. You live dogs will pay for what you did to my room. I mean temple, my temple, and my pets. I mean servants. It does come across very well. I think you did a good job with that. And
it's the collection room. It's very important.
Yeah, yeah. It is very. No, my Legos.
Also,
my Legos.
My room, not my bedroom, but my room is very like that. There's a childishness there, right? Yeah, right.
The glut
Here's
bunny.
a question: does he live with his mother?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
we did see it. Kind of looked like a castle that he was walking through when he.
Yeah, it was several rooms. Yeah. And I think Ken also mentioned that his shoes are even the same shoes from the cover store.
What kind of giant feels
I
the
think
need to
some
wear
people
heels?
did put two and two together. I didn't, obviously.
It's a lucky giant.
That's of the things that he has done. As Chika mentioned, I think kidnapping is still up there. To be for him though, this is why I brought up the Fishman Island thing. It's like I do like the idea of what Cohen said, like going island to island. Oh, little people. Oh, also more little tiny people. And there might be like that like superiority complex thing that we got with the new Fishman pirates. They are also called the new giant pirates. They also have that very creative way of naming.
And as wrestling
themselves,
fans know, the new version of
we know
a team is
Hyuden
never
isn't
as
like
cool
this,
as the original
but
version.
There might be. That's accurate.
The West Coast Avengers, for example.
He was like that David Mitchell sketch, but instead of saying "Are we the baddies," he was like, "Are we the biggies?"
My point is that he might be of the opinion that the little people don't really matter and that he just collects them and, he thinks of them as he objectifies them, is I think the term. And that may make his... To be fair, the bird kidnapped them and then he drugged them. So it's really a collaborative effort of awfulness between the two of them. But not justifying that at all, but in his mind, giving him a reason, not an excuse, thinking, oh, these are just, objects. I could just take these and do what I want with these because they're little tiny people and they're giants. That's probably what was going through his head. Plus... he probably is an incel or nerd or weeb, and we haven't seen this caricature of a nerd in One Piece as far as I could recall, which is a fun way to this is like a level. This is the Japanese super nerd that is on 2chan and that you should be afraid of. It's not, that I'm sure are out there on the internet in strong force, and that is absolutely the vibe here. And I think Oda does do an exemplary job of, I have a cool mask, I should look scary, and then no, wait, I'm this person, because that's also how that kind of person on the internet portrays themselves, that they think. Like an Elon Musk, they think they're a very scary looking, intimidating machismo, all of that crap, when they're really just really sad nerds playing with their Legos in their basement. Not to say that nerds playing with Legos
it's fun to do that.
Yeah, I was about to say, hold on.
Fun. I know.
Legos.
I will back up on that statement.
Why is Legos catching strays here?
Legos is great. Legos are great. I step back on that statement.
Playing with people's lives.
You go. And that's a better. I meant something more profound than Legos.
Chika's right, because that is the thing here, right? That is the thing we see in One Piece so often. This is the Celestial Dragons. This is
true.
Legos, whether it's why can
it's a
I
cutier
not
way. It
is
a
fruit, my favorite character.
Doflamingo.
Yeah, it's the Doflamingo. I'm going to turn you into toys. I'm going to turn you into puppets. You were in my jar. It's just another.
I actually think in 3 chapters this accomplished that motif better than it did in because you are right, that is a motif, but the puppetry part of it isn't as. I feel like it doesn't come across as well, but that might just be me. It's also been a while since I've look through
We'll see how you feel in 300 chapters.
Yeah. I'm going to call this a mini arc for the time being within an arc. I really did enjoy it.
We're not classifying this as a mini arc. It's only 2 chapters.
There are mini arcs that are that.
Well, I was going to say, if we're going
as an arc, but like a little mini story. I don't know what
Vignette.
Thank you. Because the first chapter of this was called Adventure in the Kingdom of Mystery, as you recall. So that's, I assume, just this. I think we could still get one of those. So for those who don't know, Oda titles the first chapter of an arc usually Adventure in the Blank. I think
the Land of Blank.
The Land of Blank. The Land of Toys, I think, was Dressrosa, for example.
Zach, I'm in agreement here, and I do think that if we see Elbaf next time, it'll be the Adventure in the Land of the Giants.
I hope so.
This really was like a shrunk down arc. And in a lot of ways, it's like we get the adventure. We even saw a map. We got an extended escape sequence after the boss fight. We got a big move to finish it off, and now we're free. They're even going to have like a very, very short party for like one panel at the start of the
Oh no, they had it on the cat. I don't know.
Oh yeah, they already
You're
right.
Yeah,
they already did the.
It was in one of those panels in the middle. No, I'm not here to like tell the wiki to change their entry and make this a separate thing. I'm just saying that this is kind of its own contained story, and I think that's done well. And Oda hasn't done very much of that, so that's nice. I'm sure we are still going to have threads of this continue, but for the time being, as we sit here today in October 2024, I enjoyed this chapter a lot, and I agree with. I think Cohen said it is really nice to have the core group just acting like wacky, like they have at the beginning of the series. That's the last chapter, I think, really excelled at that. This one as well. But like the last chapter really excelled. And lastly, I hope Rodo gets even more coming to him here. I'm sure he is going to be a real peon. Like you could kind of tell, like this guy is going to be like, part of the crew, but
he's got side character energy.
He definitely has side character energy. I like though when side characters get this kind of spotlight at the beginning of an arc. It gives them a fun kind of context. I'm trying to like Cracker.
He was more exhausting though.
Of Whole Cake Island, I guess, is kind of like that. It's like, okay, this is how we test our initial. He was pretty exhausting. Cracker.
Well, that was kind of the thing. The Whole Cake is like we're used to seeing like somebody get propped up and knocked down at the start of an arc to kind of like, okay, True. Now we're off to the races. A problem has been introduced and then resolved. But Cracker is like, oh, this isn't over. This is because Whole Cake is like
that's true. That's
level.
True.
But yeah, it's nice to see after the very, very long escape from Egghead. It is nice to see a problem get introduced and then resolved.
And you forget before Egghead was Wano, which was 2018 through 2022, I think. So that also was Alex. Of course, I would be remiss if we didn't talk to you and your thoughts on the chapter.
Yeah, great chapter.
Okay, cool.
No. I mean, I had to deal with pizza
you have
shit.
Lactose intolerance, Alex?
While y'all were talking, so I don't know what got
I'm
covered.
not gonna drill into that more. Pizza shit.
Mm-hmm. No. I mean,
I wasn't gonna do it, Ed. I wasn't gonna make the shit show.
Pizza delivery snafu. Anyways, I guess it has been brought up, but the best part about this chapter is the Straw Hats. Acting normal,
acting like themselves.
And well, it's also good seeing that core group, and I wonder if that has anything to do with Oda revisiting their dynamics for the live action.
I think that's what I was thinking. Actually, I forgot about that.
And I don't know. It's nice to see that again. It's nice to see Sanji not being super creepy towards Nami. It's nice to see everybody sort of working together. Nami actually does a lot here. She's full on rogue. She's got her, she stole her map. She tossed it away. She got her big attack off. She got basically her, like she's the one that gave Rodo, the comeuppance there. And I think it's really cool that we get to see all of that in just 2 chapters. I'll be honest, I feel a little bad for Rodo because of his pets. Because, pets are precious to people, no matter how depraved and dumb he is.
Jesus.
Stephen, I commend you on your localization for this character. It's what a fun thing to have in this series. A little bit of meta commentary on huge nerds.
I did. I just going back to something Zach said too, how he thought it was interesting that Oda, introduced a sort of his own version of a stereotypical nerd or an archetypal nerd character, because it was reminding me of when he first introduced Pudding, because she was a archetypal tsundere, like Oda's version of that. And I remember finding that very novel at the time too, of he's actually going to try to do a classic version of this very recognizable character archetype. And he always manages to twist it just a little bit to where it doesn't feel like he's just going through the motions. Like it is kind of in his own style and doesn't necessarily line up perfectly with every stereotype part of that character view. But it is very recognizable, obviously, as an example of that.
Knowing that Rodo is a nerd now, his appearance makes a lot more sense, because only huge nerds wear giant Doctor Who scarves. And one thing
can we insult any other nerds here? I've done Legos. You did Doctor Who. We did the internet.
Yeah.
Weebs.
So one more thing before I finish here. The something cool that I noticed, that I notice this every once in a while. and I think this is a really clever move that Oda does. Every few arcs, Oda shows how strong Luffy has gotten by
just using it to sort of willy-nilly.
By sort of taking a power-up and sort of making it easier for him to do. Just sort of, he was only, like, for example, like this mini Gear 4, he was basically just imbuing his arm with the Gear 4th ability. And the first time we saw him do this was when we come back from the time skip, and he just uses Gear 2nd on his arm to lay out.
I thought about this. I'm glad you're bringing it up.
A jet pistol, and I think this is a clever thing that Oda does, and I really love it when he does this, because it just, you don't need to go through the motions of showing, characters training, but it's a subtle thing, and I think it's very effective. And it's
Gear 4
a nice play on the shonen trope.
And Gear 4 is kind of unwieldy. I think we've discussed a lot about our opinions of the different gears when Gear 5 happened.
It's not so glossy black.
But I'm sure this is much easier to draw just the arm and get that out of the way for him.
It's Oda's version of Moore's Law, where, computing power just gets better. It gets smaller and more powerful as it goes along, so he can just do more with Luffy in a more efficient manner. Without having to, like you said, do all the investment in powering him up and showing him training and all that.
That's the Toriyama method, actually.
I was about to say,
smaller
it's nice to see it still in the rotation. It's nice to have Gear 4. Gear 4 was a big deal. It's like when Goku goes Kaioken again. Now it's like there it is. I love this.
Yeah, the thing from before. Yeah. Things the old becomes new again, Fashion is cyclical. Alex, did you have any other?
No, I look forward to Elbaf.
Yeah.
Which is
Did no one else here have Roto-Rooter commercials, or am I the only one? Because that's all.
Oh no, I know Roto-Rooter. That's funny.
Because I was gonna say Nami is the Roto-Rooter.
She's got a Roto-Rooter. I like this little panel of her being really pleased with her, Zeus Klimatak.
Reared him up the ass.
Finally seeing her do something with it.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's been
I wish it was other things besides lightning. That's all I have to say about that. I mean, lightning's cool. I'm not going to knock lightning. It definitely hurts. But weather does other things.
Yeah. It is a kind of an interesting thing of it's the ultimate expression. She stole it. She stole Zeus, and so it's
She's
thief
a thief
plus weather. It's thief plus weather, so it's great on that. But it was cool when she used to be like, I'll throw a little this and make a mirage, and I'll make it snow because it's snow. It's like, well, she could just make a bolt of lightning the size of a skyscraper now. Why do anything else?
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. Is she's a little overpowered, which is fine. It's Nami. If she could beat everyone else up on the Straw Hat crew, Luffy included.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's true.
Might as well have her be the overpowered one. Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts on the chapter? Otherwise, we could go into the next segment. Yep. If you could get past the evil rabbit, you have entered the Piece Together segment, where we take your questions, comments, and theories and decide which Lego set is our favorite. Yeah, probably. Let's get started. Alex, what do we call this?
Dispees.
And what do we got on Discord this week? By the way, if you hear Ed missing, he went to bed. Go ahead, Alex.
All right, we'll start with one that was from the other day. Dracula's Hired Slayer, who says, hey now, this piece is over. Love that chapter. Luffy / another character doing that one thing. I like that or didn't like that. Anyway, isn't ice cream good? Oh, this clearly came out before the new chapter. Anywho, isn't ice cream good? Delicious. If y'all could create some specific ice cream flavor names a la Ben and Jerry's that are One Piece or One Piece podcast themed, what could you think of? For example, Rocky Road Port Incident. We need to offer him s'more. Authority Chocolate Chip, El Baffy Taffy, and Cookie Crisp Orochi. That's some good eats. Anybody got one?
I love that this is happening with me on this episode this week. Yeah. Okay.
It's true. The ice cream motif. Yeah.
Yeah.
These are all very good.
I would not want a Rodo Sundae. I'm just gonna say.
The foo fudge.
I like it.
Yeah, the foo fudge.
I like that we're making it. Does it have to be just this chapter? Like, how do we get this ultra?
Okay.
Mine would be Goop Troop Bloopberry.
There it is.
Nice.
That's the podcast flavor.
Mm-hmm.
It always comes back to that. What's next, Alex?
Or
Cohen.
Mint chocolate chopper. That's what I got.
That's a good one.
Oh.
Is there a flavor that starts with like a tone? Like it sounds like Tony. That's what I'm trying to think.
I was thinking of a steak or salad one.
Steak and salad flavored ice cream. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, that'd be if Salt
awful.
and Straw made a.
That is a very long
flavor.
story. That a very inside joke from 2012, 13.
No,
Yeah.
15.
I do love. 15? We need to offer him s'more. That's
very good.
That is very good.
That's a very
and
OPP.
That's my famous line for
Good
those who don't know from the dub. The one line I have in the dub as a Satan worshiper.
S'mores. Yeah.
Nice.
For Brooke, yeah. That's my claim to
continue.
fame, my 15 minutes. Yeah,
Sailor Karna is Universal says, "Hey OPP, how is your October going? Hopefully good and spooky. Now we know who the Sun God is. Now that we know who the Sun God is, do you think he'll be okay being Luffy's henchman now that he's got a small taste of the ultra rare crew?"
That would be a pretty fun turnaround.
I think we're going to see that by the end of the arc for sure.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I do wonder if there's going to be a big bad this arc and how that's going to work out. Like, I wonder if this is going to follow. We were talking about before we started the segment about Whole Cake Island. Like, I wonder how the structure of this is going to work because it's not clear what exactly is going to happen here at all.
My money is on the one name I know, which is Prince Loki.
Loki.
Yeah. Sorry.
But maybe he's a good guy. Like maybe the threat comes from the outside. I mean, don't forget all the shit that's happening on the outside world right now.
Oh, for sure. I don't think I'm right. I'm just doing the thing.
No,
where
you might be.
I think the answer is the thing I've already heard of, which is the classic theory thing.
Right. That's why we
We're
knew
all
the Sun
nerds
God.
here.
That's how we knew the Sun God was Loki all along.
Yeah,
That's true. And not Rodo. Alex, what's next?
Well, OPP got me into Peterman says. So
I'm
we have
sorry
a giant.
about that.
So we have a giant who wears a mask, is a collector, and is a perv, and called Nami his Oshi. Did Oda base Rodo on Sanada?
Sanada.
And there is a.
That's a picture of Sanada.
That's Sanada?
I think that's
That's
from his
Sanada.
Twitter. Yeah.
I am not reposting this image, but Alex will describe it in detail.
It's funny as shit. He looks like he's wearing a yellow Sentai outfit, and it says "My Birthday" on it. And in the foreground are, I guess, Glitter and Glamour's Nami and Robin action
The very
figures.
warped looking
Bikini model ones. Yeah.
Bikini, and he's throwing water at them.
Is that what he's doing?
He's crouching in a river or something.
He's
crouching
and it
in a
looks like he's
stream.
splashing
It's
water on them, which is...
It's a bizarre photo.
You do you, Sanada.
Sanada, by the way, for those who don't know, is the one who asks all the bad questions in the SBS. And
All the
also
really
is
horny
the
ones, yeah.
and coincidentally Guinness Book of World Records holder for the most One Piece merch. So
Really?
dubious
Yeah.
claim. Yeah, which also fits very well with this chapter and this guy. So we used to say Bartolomeo we thought was based off of Greg. If in that same stream of thought, I'd say that this guy's based off of Sanada for all the good and bad. Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, enough of him. $52 for the dollhouse says, a new weirdo joins the fray at a scale never seen before. I'm a little disappointed that he seems to be just some guy. At first I thought he was going to be some wise Odin. His bird is named Mugin, after all, a mix of Odin's ravens, Hugin and Munin. But he's just some guy. Now that we're out of the weirder room, do you think we're in Elbaf proper, or do we have a bit to go still? Well,
we just have more rooms of this kind.
I think we're gonna get a great shot of Elbaf.
Yeah,
in the first couple pages, like a nice big page.
But let's remember that means Rodo has a house like on a hill overlooking the entire. Like, what kind of real? Oh, well, we just say he was affluent. So
He's
maybe
a rich.
He does have some good real estate. Yeah,
he's a rich bitch.
Well, no, you know what? It's not him. It's his mom. It's his mom's house.
No, he's a trust fund baby.
Floor. He has a trust fund baby,
and he has a regular job, but he spends all of his money on nerd shit, and he probably has a body pillow.
Well, and there's that line about this room was designed as a prison for giants. That's just like kind of mentioned. It's like, what is that? What are?
Oh yeah, that was weird too.
Interesting. Like, does it like a dungeon room? Like,
is it his basement? Does he live in his mom's basement?
Let's hope so.
What kind of
luckily,
basement did they have?
Maybe Mother's Basement, the YouTuber knows. What was I going to say? I am not disappointed that this is some guy. I am thrilled that this is just some guy.
He's not just some guy, though. We have a name for him, even.
That's true. Like, when I say some guy, I mean that he's just, a nerdy, like, lame-o. I think that's perfect. Yeah. We said that from the beginning of when we first had hints of this. I think we're like, oh, it's definitely some sort of nerdy, like, collector.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, including me, were like, maybe this is who Loki is. But I'm kind of.
Am I the only one who didn't think this was Loki?
It's the one name we knew, and it's a new giant we thought. it's what can I say?
I put two together.
Yeah.
Got 5. Yeah, we're doing our best.
A couple more to get through. Professional Poitergeist says, "Howdy OPP. OMG, I can't believe the fake sun god turned out to be Scrolls thought One Piece wiki rode from the Giant Warriors pirates."
What?
Scrolls thought...
No,
probably
so
meant through.
Through One Piece wiki.
Oh.
I can't believe the fake sun god was, and then he scrolls through. The Rodo from the Giant Warrior pirates?
I see. Sorry, I was trying to figure that out. You spelled it. Road from the Giant Warrior Pirate.
Rodo.
I see.
Rodo.
Well, I guess road is what the
I think that's what the
suppose.
wiki calls it. Yeah.
I see. I'm simply shocked. Anyways, if you manage to get your hands on ultra rare OP character that you hate, Wanze, Caribou, etc., how would you torture them? Have a good day, Zach.
That got really dark. That got very dark.
In your castle dungeon basement.
Which awful One Piece character? That's a toughie. Well, for Wanze, Satori, and his siblings, just the inability to talk. Do not let them speak. I don't want to hear their voices. And no offense to that voice actor, but I hate your voice. It's in Japanese, so I don't think they're listening. I don't know about the English. I forget what the English versions of that sound like.
He's on the bullet train listening, and he just goes, "I'm gonna kill him."
I'm sure that's not what his actual. I hope that's not what his actual
way to
voice
voice
sounds
Beppo.
like. Yeah, I forgot he does Beppo. Yeah.
Or Goldo in a new Dragon Ball Z video game. Straw Hat Rigby says, "Hello again, OPP. When the announcement came about entering the final saga, my friends and I made some predictions on how many more chapters One Piece would have in total. My friend said 250 more chapters from 1054, almost a third through her prediction, while I said the final chapter would be at chapter 1500, which means many more years of One Piece. Given all the things introduced and how many beats we have to hit before the end of the story, how many chapters do you think the story will last? How many more chapters, rather?"
So instead of answering that question, I'm going to pose a similar question. So we do our contest. When will the arc that we're in? How far will it go? And so this is a good excuse to ask our guests how long they think it will go. Yeah. So the winner gets to host an episode if they want. No, they have to. Okay. It's forced. And Steven, you still owe us an episode, and also.
I don't. I started an entire line of podcasts for you.
Oh yeah, you did. Okay, you did. You're good. You're right, Steven. You're correct. Who won the last one? I'm trying to. Oh, it was Brodsky. Brodsky owes us an episode. Anyway, so the predictions we have, we're in chapter 1129 right now as to when Elbaf will end, unless you count this. I said 1227. Ed said 1175. Alex said 1184. Steven said 1195. Mel said 1199. Jammer said 1177. Steve said 1192, but he's not here. And Jill said 1203. So any number but those. And if you say it, I'll let you know. So if you didn't memorize them just now.
This is 1129.
Yes.
Elbaf.
Alex, you did yours already. So
Did I?
I said your name, and 1184 you said.
Oh, I said 1184? Yeah.
You can't change it.
All right.
You're not going to like this answer.
Yeah, go for it.
1351.
Oh, shit.
Oh, Jesus.
We're in this for the long haul.
You're
We've been
right, I'm
hearing
not
about-
going to
We're gonna-
Giant-sized arc.
We've been hearing about Elbaf since Little Garden. Elbaf is older than Robin. We have been winding up for this for longer than Wano. Like, I'd
We're
love
probably
to
going to see a bunch of flashbacks, too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I said
we thought Egghead was gonna be
1227, but yeah, I said 1227, which is, I think it was 100 is what I said. 1351 would be over 200. Is that right?
How long was Wano?
Wano was 121 or something, I think. It was in the mid 100s, which is long. 1351 would be incredible. You should keep it. I'm not trying to. You might be right. It is about giants. A giant-sized arc does make sense. And I could see it being long personally. That is very long.
It's long. It's long. I also feel like it's I think it's the last thing before, I think it's the last island.
I think you're right.
So
I think you're right.
Like
the last one before we like really get to the stuff.
on the moon. Yeah.
Right, which we all here on the One Piece podcast have officially endorsed to be the moon. Chika, what do you think?
1285.
Oh, you had that locked and loaded. Okay. You both think this is going to be very long. Not saying that you're wrong, because we have been wrong most of the time. So you go with what you think. As far as the whole story, I mean, 1500 would sound nice, but if this arc ends in 1351, we might have longer than that. I've always said I thought it was going to last until 2027, which is the 30th anniversary of the manga. However, I might extend that. I feel like that's not that far away. We're almost in 2025. That's 3 years, and that's 3 years is like what, like 100 something chapters, 120 chapters, something like that. Mm-hmm. At the rate he's been going, probably less. So I think we have more than that. And according to the two of you, Elbaf will go into 2027. So doable. I'm not saying you're wrong again.
I don't want to be right. I just think that I am.
Chika's I think a little more than Cohen's just personally, but I've been wrong a lot.
I don't mind being wrong, guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to host the episode? Okay.
Also, the reason, everybody always groans, and by everybody I mean all of us on the podcast. We always groan when this comes up because we have to guess more. This is why we don't also guess the last chapter of the series.
We will not do that.
It is so much work just to keep track of one arc that we'll just stick to one at a time.
Plus, you actually, besides. Yeah. Plus, all of us. Plus, we'll probably get to see the end of this arc relatively soon, or in 4 years. Okay, next question, Alex.
Road vs. Eye Patch says, "Damn OCPP, Road has quite the collection." Everybody keeps calling him Road. How come when I pull the giant Raven Gashapon, I only get low tier rejects like Mummy Me, Donovan, and Charlotte Mash? Anyway, now that we know that some of the Grand Fleet isn't a fan of our main crew, I'm looking forward to the real big bad of this arc, Columbus. In honor of the big bad of colonialism, Columbus.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks, Reverse Eye Patch. I mean, Rodo-verse Eye Patch. Wisdom Pythagoras says, "Heyo, ultra rare Zach, ultra rare Ed, ultra rare Steve, ultra rare Alex, ultra rare Steven, and ultra rare guests. How big is Rodo?"
Them all here.
Yeah. How big is Rodo? His Raven Mugen is bigger than the Sunny, and the Sunny is supposed to be bigger than a normal giant. So is Rodo just insanely large? I guess they did say in the last chapter he was especially big.
Sunny's bigger than a giant?
Sunny's not bigger than a giant, though.
No.
Sunny's bigger than Going Merry by
Yeah.
like maybe 3 times, but that's it.
Yeah, Sunny's not even a huge ship, like, generally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we saw the giant ship. It was real. I think this is why this opening arc is so important.
Yeah.
It's just like the scale, because I think we're used to like.
Well, Oda's also bad at scale. Generally.
He's
but you're
very
right.
much goes by feel. He does not measure things out.
I think people were looking at that one panel of the two of them side by side, the Thousand Sunny and the giant ship, and trying to measure them. And I'm like, that might not be how it ends up being. Yeah, scale doesn't. Oh, remember Izo and his sister, who's 5 times his size? Kiku.
A sizable woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they end up being the same height, even though Izo is a normal sized person and Kiku is like 20 feet tall.
Maybe in the One Piece log Fishman Island thing, they'll change that one scene where Oda wrote in the narration that like when Hody Jones threw the water bullet, it went like 40,000 meters away or something, and we were like, that's 40 kilometers away, and it's still inside Fishman Island. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah,
so,
he has. This has been a. I'm trying to. So I think the giants are supposed to be around 80 feet tall, right? I was
average,
just trying to like
sure.
see. Yeah. So like, yeah, that's still like smaller than a skyscraper by a very large margin.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that's. I'm trying to think of what's 80 feet, like a big tree.
Morley,
I guess.
Yeah, Morley is the. I'm straight on the wiki. Morley is the shortest giant at about 36 feet, and Dory is the tallest known normal giant at 22 meters, which is about 66, if I recall, meters and feet.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's triple, I think. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
something like that.
And
I thought it was
think
like 79 feet.
the
But
sun
go ahead.
the sun god's wearing heels too, right?
That's a really good point.
Oh yeah.
So,
They didn't realize that's why he's so tall.
Yeah.
Those heels. Yeah.
He's wearing lifts.
He takes off the helmet. He's just standing in the shoe, like Karibo's shoe, just like floating.
Yeah, he can.
I'm looking up
step on
heights
spikes
now. Yeah, go ahead.
The last one, Hopkins Hat 15 with their catchphrase, "Hey OPP, how it be?" I drew Nami and Usopp in their Elbaf outfits, but when I posted them on social media, I wasn't sure if I should spell Elbaf with a PH or Elbaf with an F. I stuck with the Viz spelling because that's it's how I originally read it, but I also know Elbaf is supposed to be fable backwards. So which one is more grammatically correct?
Okay, interesting. Yeah,
It's
in
a good
fact,
question.
who knows? Yeah, I mean, we now that we know we are not like in Elbaf proper yet, and we could be seeing it soon. Maybe we will finally get some confirmation on this. But yeah, Oda has never written Elbaf out in Western letters, and he's never Romanized it. He's only ever written it in katakana, which is Eru Bafu, and it is a very popular theory that it should be Elbaf because that is fable backwards, and Usopp is based off of Aesop, as in Aesop's fables. But I'm going to point out that is completely 100% circumstantial. We do not know. There has never, ever been confirmation from Oda that that is what he's going for. And a lot of people just assume, because it makes sense, right? Like there's a certain logic to it. You're like, oh, okay, that's clever. Like that's interesting. There's something that connects Usopp, who is, obsessed with the giants. He thinks they're super cool. Maybe Oda was kind of doing some word association and took the word fable, turned it backwards, and that's what he did to make the giants homeland. But that is completely a guess. He has never said that is what it is, and so it could be something completely different. I would not be surprised, like if it's something that is totally unrelated. Like he could just say it's like, oh, it's Erubafu, like the same way that you would Romanize the katakana. It could be Erubafu, or something else.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't wait for it to be like spelled Urbaf, and then everybody's like scrambling to change all
Right.
the wiki shit.
Right.
And yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what to I don't know what it's going to end up being if there is an answer. I mean, usually I'd say it's probably a good chance that we will see something because at least nowadays Oda seems to like doing, like the big subtitle stuff on his big splash images and things like that. Certainly more than he used to pre-time skip. So we might get an answer. But yeah, I mean, I think, and Viz is spelling ELBAPH, same thing. It's just it's just kind of like, okay, well, it's a name of some kind. There isn't really an obvious, like lexicological connection to anything. So let's just make it sound fanciful and fictional in some way. And so that's kind of how they came up with that spelling.
Steven, if it were left up to, you did your own like fan translation just on its own for a while.
I recall you using the F back in the day.
I was going to ask, what would you have
word,
used?
Yeah. I don't know.
We all did.
Honestly, like just speaking personally, I'm completely agnostic on this. Like I don't really have an opinion.
I mean, I guess there's no information about it, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. But even like just speaking in terms of aesthetically, like I really don't have a preference either way. I'm more just like, okay, let's just pick something out so we can go with it. And
I like Fable spelled backwards, actually. This is like one of those instances where I do like that. I do have an opinion, even though it hasn't been settled. I mean, look, Reverie has been spelled some interesting ways.
Yeah.
Mary Joyzy, exactly. South of New Jersey. It's been spelled interesting ways. And the biggest and most famous, Laugh Tale, which we all got fucked up on, I think, without... It's really, in retrospect, it's like, wow, that was a hidden in plain sight thing. That is like a...
Yeah, I mean, it was hidden in plain sight because like he hid it in a way that you would never have guessed because it's not the way you would have written it if that's what, he meant by it. So he definitely hid that on, with force.
On purpose,
yeah. But, who knows?
And One Piece, the title, I'm sure, is going to have a similar situation. By the way, going back to the previous question, Dory is around 74 feet. And apparently a story of a building is around 14 feet. So it's like 5.5 stories. So that gives you kind of an idea of where Dory is. I feel like it should be a little more, but we'll see. I'm sure there are taller giants than Dory. I'm sure he's not the tallest in the land. Alex, what's next?
That's it.
Oh, that's it. That's I should have had it prepped already, but let's go to emails. Our first emails. Oh, thank you for stalling for time.
The email.
Also, okay, I got it open now. I think we just had one. Benjamin Wild, friend of the show, says, "Hey, podcast, long time no write. Might we be in Elbaf for the end of the year festival? It would be a good way to bring back Big Mom's flashback into the main story. And if so, would Luffy handle it any better than Big Mom? The fasting, I think, is the specifically, not the Semla. Keep up the great work.
Semla!
I still haven't had Semla, and I've been meaning to. Yeah, what do you guys think?
Interesting. I mean, I guess my very unromantic answer is I don't think that was going to play a part, but it would be a really interesting way to tie, to be like, oh, that's the thing that we know from Elbaf. Similar to Loki's name, it's the other thing that we know about Elbaf.
I think the thing with Chiffon and Loki is a more likely tie-in that she rejected him, and that's the whole reason. Not Chiffon.
Lola.
Lola.
Yeah.
I think that's more likely to come into the story again. I need to reread that Whole Cake Island vignette about Loki. I should do that.
Was this just my personal theory that there's a kid in Charlotte's flashback, one of the other at Mother what is her name? Mother
Gerd.
Carmel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's the little one with the horns. There's is that's not Loki? No.
We don't know if we saw Loki there, but I don't think we did because those are
the thing that when they mentioned Rodo by name, but we didn't see him in the flashback, it was something about the birth of Prince Loki, maybe, or something like that. He was
I'm gonna
mentioned
look right
offhand.
now.
Yeah.
That was a very good little flashback. Speaking of, we were talking about Whole Cake Island before, and that's
the only time we've seen Loki is in the silhouette form when Chiffon is describing how Lola turned him down, and he looks kind of he looks brutish and giant, like he looks like an ogre. But that could just be Oda's classic silhouette thing where he changes his mind because he hasn't designed him yet. But
Gerd is there with Big Mom. Like she
did show up.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to show you.
And she's the same height as Big Mom, which is interesting. As a 5-year-old.
I'm probably wrong, but I have been wondering what this kid's deal is since this one kid. It's when we get the title drop.
Oh, the king,
Mother Caramel, the little one with the little black crown.
Yeah, I'm looking at that now.
I've been like,
but that is not a giant because Mother Caramel is a regular. Yeah,
I'm dead wrong on that.
It might just be a fun design. It is a very fun design.
It seems.
I feel like it's like it's almost like a Maurice Sendak thing.
I was gonna say.
I've been reading a lot of that, so yeah.
I don't like that kid. He's creepy.
Yeah, he's got a mean look.
Problem solved now. Yeah.
No,
it's not going to trouble us anymore.
The Mother Caramel orphans, the House of Lamb children, have very good designs.
Yeah,
they all
great.
Are very unique, and they look great. Yeah.
Which I wonder if that was intentional as a like, not only hey, these are kids from all over the world, and some of them have like big potential futures, but it just made what happened to them more horrifying.
Yeah,
because they're not just like some chumps. It's like they have very distinctive designs. It's like I can't wait to see what happens to these kids. Oh no.
Hyruden's there too. I'm just like looking. I need to reread this whole thing. I'll Cake Island again. It was always a good excuse. That was it for emails, Stephen.
All right, so we'll go to our subreddit Archipelago over at reddit.com/r/One Piece podcast. We'll kick it off with Amiibo Hunter 000, who says, with Oda adding the mini to the Gear 4th attacks in a way to concentrate the haki and energy without needing a full transformation, maybe go back to chapter 1127 and check out the group attack there. Are we going to see mini added to the volumes for Luffy's attack in 1127? That was the thing that, when he said Gear 4 and everybody was like, that looks like Gear 3. Seems Greg was right about the new arc syndrome, and it wasn't some big conspiracy after all. My real question, is this the first time we've seen Luffy do an elephant whip? I missed the different kick attacks, whip, axe, etc., and I can only recall him ever using Gear 4 for punches where his legs are usually jet boosters while in Gear 4. Thanks for the awesome podcast. Can't wait to hear all your thoughts on the new arc. That's a good point. I guess he never really did use kick attacks for Gear 4, did he?
I guess Culverin, right? No, that's the.
That was the snake
like
one, right?
Yeah, he did a rhino kick or something like that. Where,
it was
where
Rhino
he,
Schneider.
Rhino Schneider, that's the one where he sucks both of his legs into his body. And
PG-13.
There you go. That guy deserves all that's coming there.
Rhino Schneider.
The next
Rhino Schneider is Luffy, rated PG-13. Jesus Christ. I'm going to be obsessed with this for the next day, Steven. Thank you.
Our next comment comes from Two Left Nuts. Okay. Who says, hello, OPP. It looks like Shinobu is disgruntled about the Green Bull diet plan not truly keeping the weight off.
Hey, that's every diet. That's every diet.
No kidding.
You got it's not like you have to make it a lifestyle change. Green Bull's got to live with you, Shinobu, if you want that.
All right, Deda She says, hey, OPP, I'm so excited to see that we got our last Straw Hat member in this chapter. Let's welcome Iscat with a pss, 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 pss.
Very good.
Sure. Iscat for crewmate, yeah. The crew loves it. All right, Matt C13 says, hey, OPP, after Luffy busted through the wall with his mini Gear 4 attack, what do you think the crew saw? Wrong answers only.
a larger room in which this much bigger giants are using this guy. It's just a series of these. Yeah.
It's the Russian Estingals, but
yeah.
Temples within temples within temples.
So
they saw all of his dead pets. It's like Glut Bunny, everyone that's like dead, they're just like looking at them like, you can't leave. You just moved from this space to now his underworld space.
It's like a Squid Games kaiji kind of thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, so in chapter 866, we celebrate the recent birth of Prince Loki and Rodo and Goldberg in the village. And we thank the sun for their growth. That's what they say. So sun god thing that was planted there by Oda for a while. Yeah.
The Newtilator says, "Hey OPP, do you think the sun god saying best story ever was written with the intent of me reading all of his lines with comic book guy's voice? It's a good voice to have. Also, what do you think of the choice of Oshi for another of his lines? I think it's great. I fear a lot of readers won't be familiar with the term. I bet this guy is an Uta fanboy. Thanks for the podcast. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on the recent anime news too." Well, you certainly heard them already.
For more
Steven,
of that,
are you an Uta fanboy?
Rewind. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ironic that he asked this on Reddit where I'm going to read it first. So
yeah. It might have been on purpose. It's possible. But
I agree with Nepets. Snrub, yeah. SMD99 says, "Hi OPP. Hope everyone's day is going well. I cannot stress enough how happy I am to have Ed back on the podcast, as we all are. Yeah. My question, do you think in order to truly master hockey, one must traverse the world and apply multiple island-specific techniques together? For example, applying Wano's Ryuo hockey technique with the Kuja Pirates' hockey arrows could make them less explosive and more implosive. The world government couldn't rid the world of hockey, its greatest threat, but still had to reduce the amount of hockey masters. This could be a reason to flood the world, separating various islands and making it near impossible to travel the globe. Possible areas to learn special hockey techniques: Wano, Amazon Lily, Elbaf, Fishman Island, Mary Joyzy, a Sky Island, Raijin Island, any hard-to-get-to island or less populated island. Also, Saturn's head-splosion hockey technique probably came from somewhere. Mary Joyzy? So, a lot of hockey speculation here.
Everyone thinks Mary Showa's in New Jersey is what I'm gathering here.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it is interesting that like Oda has like specified certain applications of hockey that we've only been introduced to at certain islands, which, I mean, if nothing else, it allows him to establish a precedent that like when characters in general talk about hockey, there's always more possibilities than what you hear the first time, because he gives you like extra examples where, you know, different people call it different things and use it in different ways, and it allows him to, you know, have the main characters learn a new trick that they can use to get past a new formidable foe. So, I mean, I guess in a storytelling sense, it's just smart fictional power development. But
yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
mantra, right? Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah, exactly.
They're gonna be calling
Started
it
off
this
as mantra.
forever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That feels like plunging, like drowning the world is a long way to go for that. But I feel like
Yeah.
I think like what they're getting at here maybe is that like if there was a motivation to, if it was intentional, if the seas were raised, if all that was done with intentionality, it was to keep people separated, which amounts to the same thing that they're talking about. It's like we keep people separated so they can't rise up. You know, make it difficult for them to come together in any one single place. Keep them isolated where they can be picked off or destroy the whole island. That island never existed.
Doesn't sound relevant to anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
What's
kill
next?
all the younglings. Yeah.
Yes, I was referring to episode 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Last one on Reddit is from Orgalorgro Lagro. who says, "Hey OPP, with Rodo being confirmed to be the Sun God, and the reveal of him having a grudge against the Straw Hats for essentially ending their time working as mercenaries for Buggy, do you think the other new giant warrior pirates also have the same outlook? Will we see Gerd, Stanson, or Goldberg also try to oppose the Straw Hats?"
I don't think that they're going to oppose the Straw Hats just outright, but I'm sure there's going to be some sort of conflict on Elbaf where the Straw Hats are going to have to fight them or other giants.
Rodo seems like kind of a dick. I don't think he's representative of
or since
anything.
the rest of them are Hiruden's like pals, maybe they won't.
Yeah.
Also, remember they were on Buggy's crew.
Yeah. I think that he'll definitely have at least some of them be like, well, Hiruden says so, and I believe in Hiruden. I follow Hiruden, so we're true blue members of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet or whatever. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of them are definitely pro Luffy. It would be more interesting that way.
Do you think Luffy is going to remember who Hiruden is?
No.
That will really sting.
Yeah.
Dressrosa, I have a vague recollection of that. I know there was a lot of running.
Who was it
what
that
he says.
Who was it that did Luffy fight Hiruden in the Colosseum, or was that?
No, that was
Sabo?
Don Shin Zhao, I think. Is that what
He fought a lot of people in that Coliseum.
He
Yeah,
did fight a lot of people.
Lucy, I think, knocked him.
Oh, yeah, that was Lucy. Yeah, that was
Okay.
a different guy.
Oh,
Totally.
yeah.
So you might remember him. Maybe.
The odds are 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
50-50, I think.
There he is. The Watto itch emoji coming to life. Any other questions, Stephen?
That was it for Reddit.
Okay. Watto, any questions?
Have you seen my chance cube?
Okay. That'll do it for the Piece Together segment. You have at least one fan. Why don't we round off the episode? This has been the One Piece Podcast for October 14th, 2024. Thank you all so much for coming on. Before we go, please check us out, patreon.com/One Piece Podcast. What are we going to do while there's a manga break? Well, there's a special coming up on October 20th. We are not recapping Fishman Island. I'm going to say that right now. No matter how great it is. I mean, we will discuss it, but I don't think we're going to be recapping it. Although, if Sam really wants to. Anyway, Chika, where could people find you and vote for Shoujo Sundae?
Yeah, you guys can find me anywhere with Shoujo Sundae. That's Shoujo with a U and Sundae like ice cream sundae. If you would like to vote for us, please vote for us. We are the clear underdog in this situation. You can go to the Shoujo Sundae link tree. It is the first link there. Basically, you are be voting for Shoujo Sundae in the Signal Listener's Choice Award in the recap category. So pick us, please.
When does voting end?
October 17th. So quick turnaround, guys.
Oh boy. All right.
Yeah, you might be listening to this. People might be listening to this. The listener listening to this. It might be October 15th.
Right.
Use incognito mode every time.
Yeah.
That way you can vote more than once.
Or multiple email addresses.
Let's rig this. Thank you. Cohen, what about you?
Hey, I'm Cohen Edenfield. You can find me on Twitter. It's at Skullmandible, but where you should find me is Skulltenders, the D&D podcast IDM about ghosts who get day passes from the afterlife so they can hunt down necromancers in the land of the living. We just finished our third arc season. We got 21 episodes up and more bi-weekly, which is just enough for a satisfying backlog, but not so much it feels like homework. There's never been a better time to start listening to Skulltenders. Thank you.
These are very good campaigners here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Always be closing.
Oh, by the way, you were on
Glenn Ross. Yeah,
you were last on in April, and that was for Jamira Kaku. For
That's
those
right.
who remember that. What happened in that? I have no idea what happened in this chapter.
That was the big suck. That was the big worm reveal. It was
You're right.
It's the suction. Casey Green, buddy of mine.
Yeah,
you may know him
Casey.
from the famous On Fire Dog and many other beautiful comics. He is also on Skulltenders.
Yeah, I bought one of his shirts and I wear it all the time because that's how I feel sometimes.
Hell
Yeah. It just, I feel like the chaos around my life needs, this is fine. Anyway, thank you, Cohen. Yeah, check out that episode too, because that's a very good chapter that ends with the horse guy. God, that arc is nuts. Steven.
You can follow my posts on Blue Sky at stephenpaul.bsky.social, where I have been doing a 3-chapter a day reread of One Piece. Not 3 posting a day, just every now and then, I'll take a picture of stuff. And I am in the middle of Whole Cake Island right now, which has been real fun. So yeah, if you're curious on my thoughts on stuff there, you can check that out over on Blue Sky.
Thank you, Steven. Akane Benashi, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's good now.
Wow,
it's real good.
It is really
Today's. Oh my God.
I know.
Yeah,
I won't say anything, but that series is incredible, especially marathoning it. But recently it's been, yeah, do not miss it. Don't sleep on that series.
I like hearing Steven that excited about a comic that he's doing.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
He's on this show. I'm
really
excited
great.
about One Piece.
But I mean, he really sounded excited.
No, it is getting really interesting. I don't know what is happening. Gonna happen. I know what's happening. I don't know what's gonna happen.
I think I said it on the Jamira on the other episode. Thank you, on Jamira Kaku. But Steven, I am just continually, like, One Piece, absolutely, but I'm continually blown away at how I never feel any culture disconnect reading Akane Benashi. It's like you're doing an amazing job on that.
Awesome, thank you.
That's true. I don't.
I'm like, yeah,
never thought of complimenting you about that.
Yeah.
I just. Yeah. No, it's excellent. Please read it. It's 128 chapters or 29 chapters. It's a quick read though, actually. You could get through that pretty quick. Versus 1129. And Alex, where can people find you?
I'm on Blue Sky and Twitter at @dude!! All in one word. If you live in the DMV area, close to DC, I am in an improv show all month long for the next 3 weeks. It's called POTUS Among Us Beyond Belief. We've had sold-out shows. It's really great. It basically lampoons the democratic process, and we have some really great special guests. Check out witdc.org for tickets, and you can check out who the special guests are every week. We got a lot of people who are like journalists. One of our special guests was the great Alan Lichtman, author of The 13 Keys of the White House.
Yeah, I've been watching too many of his videos recently.
Yeah, he's great. He's a real fun dude. And if you're in the Baltimore area on November 8th, please check out Super Art Fight at the Auto Bar. It'll be a great time. superartfight.com for tickets.
God, I hope he's right. And you can find us
is.
knock on everything. You can find us at onepiecepodcast.com, patreon.com/onepiecepodcast, anywhere on social media at One Piece Podcast. That includes Twitter, that's what it's called, Blue Sky at onepiecepodcast.com, Facebook, if you're there, at One Piece Podcast. We just got that one back, so we don't have a lot of followers. So if you're on Facebook, and for some reason, you could follow us there, facebook.com/One Piece Podcast, or you could call us at our phone number, which is 347-497-MAJI.
Maji.
That phone number again, 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
You never call.
You're never right. With your questions, comments, we've definitely named an episode that. With your questions, comments, theories, or your ultra rare straw hat. Thank you all so much for coming on the show this week. We are back with another episode of the podcast and another chapter next week. We have special guests. Ken and Mike Patton are going to be on next week, so we have that. But until then, my name is Zach.
And my name is Alex.
We'll see you next week, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.